Well, a very good evening and welcome to the West Ham Voice. I've got a very special guest coming on in a moment to talk through the preview of the West Ham v Viborg game. And we've been having a little chat before setting up the show, and he's a very interesting guest. So looking forward to that. I'm going to start very, very briefly to talk about the transfer window. Of course, as we all know, we've got our sixth signing of the season. Thilo Kehrer from PSG has signed on a 4-year deal with an option of additional 2 years. The deal is £10.1 million with additional add-ons, which will come to around about 16 million in total. That's something like 18.5 million euros. He's available for the Viborg game. So it'll be interesting to see if he starts. And we're going to go through the team and look at who the first 11 will may be. Also, he's a very versatile footballer. I'm sure you've read all about him. I did a little show earlier on with some clips of him, etc. So if you haven't watched that, please do go and watch it after this show, of course, not halfway through. He can play at right back, he can play at centre back, and he can sometimes play at defensive midfield. So he's certainly a player, and a German international for £10 million. You can't really go wrong, can you? So welcome, Thilo Kehrer. Really looking forward to seeing him play. And let's hope he hits the ground running, because we've got a few issues with our defence at the moment. Emerson Palmieri, apparently the deal is off, or as it stands, the deal is off. Apparently, Chelsea agreed to a £15 million bid, or £13 to £15 million bid. But it seems we can't get the agreement with personal terms with the player and the agent, or more to do with the agent. As you know, you don't just deal with the player these days. You have to go through agent after another agent, and God knows who else. And apparently the agent wants the player to be on bigger terms, on bigger weekly wages. And of course, as all agents do, he wants a bigger slice of the pie as well. So let's see what happens with that. But as it stands at this moment in time, we hear that deal is not progressing. And then, of course, we're hearing about Hans Vanaken from Club Brugge. It's an interesting one, this, because I was quite dismissive of it in my show on Monday night. I said, I don't think it's really going to happen. But it seems that the rumours are getting stronger and stronger. And apparently we put in around another £13 million bid for him. And Bruges have turned that down, and they want to hang on to their player. He's a prolific goal scorer for a midfielder. He's got a fantastic goal scoring ratio, something like 1 in every 3 games he scores a goal. We've been linked to him before. Club Brugge don't want to get rid of him, but it sounds like we're going to go back in for him. The reason why I'm a bit surprised at this is because of the age. Look, it's not that he can't do it at the age of 29, but I kept thinking that David Moyes wanted to go for a sort of a Red Bull type approach where you get younger players in. So it makes a lot of sense for Kehrer, but maybe not a lot of sense for Vanaken. However, he can deliver, and I'm sure he'll give us goals. But this isn't a transfer show. This is all about our European tour. It's back again. We had a great time last season, didn't we? And why shouldn't we have as good a time this season? And looking forward to our first playoff to get into the competition proper. If we win the home and away leg against Viborg, then we'll be in the competition proper. So fingers crossed. So let me bring on my guest because he knows an awful lot more about Viborg than I do. Now, I'm saying Viborg because he told me that's how you pronounce it in Denmark. We pronounce it Viborg. I'm going to go with the Danish pronunciation. Okay. Good evening to you, Flemming. How are you?
Good evening. Great to see you, myself.
It's really good to have you on, because we've been chatting before we came on, and you gave me a bit of an insight. I was actually really surprised. So can you tell us a little bit about you? It was the interesting story as well of your local team in Denmark, and how they and what I know they're both in the same league, Viborg and your team, but they had a bit of a playoff before in this competition. Is that correct?
Yes, actually, in Denmark there is a playoff game for the last spot in the European competitions, and Aalborg, my team, met Viborg, and it's only one game, and Aalborg was the home team in that game, but it ended in a draw, and actually Viborg then went on to the Conference League on penalties. So a big disappointment for my club, but very good for Viborg.
So it could have been that we would have been facing your club in
Yes,
this playoff. It
yes,
would have been quite possible. But
yes.
how if they got through that playoff, do you think Aalborg would have beaten Torshavn from the
Yes,
Faroe
yes,
Islands?
yes,
They would
definitely.
have definitely.
Yes. But we
Yeah.
don't beat many other teams at the moment. But I think we'll beat Torshavn. Yeah.
What a shame that we didn't see your team. I mean, it is a shame, but there you go. But you know quite a bit about Viborg, and
Yes.
you know quite a few people at Viborg, I
Yes,
believe.
I know many people in Viborg, and my best friend at all, he's the CEO of Viborg, Morten Jensen, a very good man and very strong person, and has been in Viborg for more than 20 years as a CEO. That's the longest for a CEO in football in Denmark. So it's very good. Viborg
All right.
is not a big club, but they have a good economy and is run very good, I think.
So tell us a little bit about the club, because I've tried to do my best in a few shows before, and you can I'm not going to be ashamed if you need to correct me. So this is the information I've got. They were founded in 1896. They got a capacity.
1896, yes,
Yeah. And they got a capacity stadium of just over 9,500.
yes.
And for us, getting there, my understanding is I was corrected by this. In order to get there is Billund Airport, and then it's about an hour's drive from there.
Yeah, 1 hour and 15 minutes, I think.
Hmm, hmm.
Yes.
And Oldborg is kind of a rivalry, isn't it, between the two of you?
A little bit. We are the two most northern clubs in Denmark, with 1 hour from Aalborg to Viborg. So actually, you could also fly to Aalborg and then drive 1 hour to Viborg. So,
All right.
so
Okay.
some I think some of the West Ham fans are going through Aalborg.
Right. Oh, I didn't know that. So there's another way of getting there.
Yes.
Um, and my understanding is they haven't they've won the Danish Cup, I believe, and Danish Super Cup, and
Mhm.
that's the sort of team that sort of goes from one division to another. Is that correct? They spend a few years in the Super League, and then they get relegated and then back up again. Would that
Yes.
be correct to say?
Yes, it is an elevator club a little bit. At one point, they were in the Super League for many years in a row, but then they got relegated, and then they've been ups and downs. And this season is only the second in the Super League, the West League.
So really, to be there in the second season and then to get into Europe must be a
Mhm.
fantastic. They must be very excited at the thought of meeting West Ham.
It's so big for them. I just spoke to Morten Jensen today, actually, from London. He's there right now, so for the game, preparing for tomorrow. And he told me that they are looking so much forward to the game tomorrow in London, because it's the biggest game for the club all the time, and all the players are very excited, and the club is looking so much forward to getting West Ham on the visit next week in Viborg. So
Do you think it's going to be a sellout there next week,
it's
Flemming?
already sold out.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So I can't get a ticket then.
I think West Ham gets some away tickets. All the
Yeah,
away
no, I
tickets.
can't get one of those either. So,
Okay.
so I mean, it's unfortunate because we've got a train strike. We've got a rail strike
Yes, I know.
in
Yeah.
London tomorrow,
Yeah.
and so we're not quite sure how much of a capacity there'll be. Because I mean, it would have been wonderful for the players to play in front of a full house, and
Yeah.
I think we're probably going to have about 40,000,
Yes.
which is still not bad. But
No.
it's such a shame that they won't experience a completely full house. But
Yes.
it's good to hear that they're actually looking forward to it as
Yes.
well.
And they are
Um,
making pre-match in Viborg 3-4 hours before the game. They have on the stadium, in the end of the stadium, they have done a lot to make a really good afternoon for the fans who want to go there.
wow, so they're going to start that
Yeah,
that
they're
much
gonna start
earlier.
that early with pints and fish and chips and everything for all the away fans at the stadium.
Wow, that's fantastic. That's something to look forward to. That
Yes,
sounds like a big event. A
yes.
big event. Tell me a little bit about their playing style, because I've been told that they're a little bit like a sort of a Brentford style team. You know, play a 4-3-3 formation.
Mhm.
They're good on the counter attack. Would you say that's accurate?
Yes, but they have changed a little bit this season because the first season last year, they were more like a counter-attack style team. Not that physical, but very good in the counter-attacks. Not so much possession last season. But this season it has changed. Last year they won a lot of away games because they were defensively very good, and then they could benefit from the counterattacks. But in this season, they have been better with the ball. They have a lot of position also against the good teams. And they have actually won all 3 home games this season, and they have lost both away games. So I think they had changed their style a little bit. They've got better on the ball. They have got better players in. So I see them more now like a better team in possession, and they are technically a better team than last season, definitely.
So, so you say they've got better players in now. My understanding is because of restrictions with EU visas, 2 of their main players. Would you say these are 2 of their main players, Ibrahim Said and Alassane Jata? They're both not available for tomorrow. How big a miss will that be for them?
Ibrahim Said would definitely be a starter tomorrow. They had just sold a young talent to a German club, so Said would definitely start tomorrow. And there are clubs interested, bigger clubs interested in Said actually in Denmark right now. I think he's a good player. He would definitely start. I don't think Jata would be in the starting lineup tomorrow. But I think actually they have 18, 20 solid players, so it's not that big loss that they don't participate tomorrow, I think.
So they've got good strength in depth then.
Yes, I think so.
So I've got a few players that I've picked out, but I wonder if you
Mhm.
can tell me if there are any others. And first of
Yeah.
all, we start off with Jacob Bond, who's been at
Yes.
the club for quite a number of years. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes. Um, I think he was better last year. Last year he has a terrific season and scored a lot of goals. He takes the penalties, and but I don't think this year. I think he has been a little bit disappointing. He's not that fast, and he hasn't been. I don't think he has been that sharp this season. But normally he's a good player.
And do you think maybe is he the captain of the team? Is that correct, or am I wrong?
No, I don't think. I think it's a defender, Mads Lauritsen.
Oh, and I haven't got him on my list.
Or
So there
maybe
you go.
Jakob Lundgren. I don't
There's
think.
my research.
Yeah, but they have another midfielder, Justin Loonwijk, a Dutch
Uh-huh.
player. He's very good. He's been the best midfielder this season. He has number 8
Uh-huh.
tomorrow.
Uh-huh.
Yes, very good player.
Because I had another player in midfield who I believe
Yes,
is their top goal scorer at the moment, and that's Clint Leemans.
yes, he's also good. Also a Dutch player. They do have a lot of Dutch players, and he's also a good player. I think they have the strength and depth is very good. They have many very good players.
Do you think that these players that you're mentioning? I mean, I've got a couple of others. There's J. Roy
Yes,
Grott
yes.
who
He'll
used to play
start.
for Leeds.
He'll start on top tomorrow. He'll
Uh-huh.
be the only attacker tomorrow, I think.
Right. So they'll play one up front
Yes, one
tomorrow
up
night.
front, definitely. Yes,
And then there's Niels Mortimer who they got from Barcelona, I believe.
yes,
The
yes.
Barcelona B team.
He's just arrived to the club and very young player. I don't think. I definitely. I'm sure he won't start tomorrow. He won't be
Right.
starting.
Okay.
Yeah.
So with the players that they've got,
I have one player. I have
yes,
one player I
please.
just have to mention for you because they have a left back, Christian Sørensen. He's this season he has scored twice and 3 assists in 5 games. So he has been terrific. the best left back in the Danish Super League this season. Also, when you look at Brøndby, FC Copenhagen, Midtjylland, all the big clubs, they don't have a left back of his class. So I know now there is a lot of interest from bigger clubs from him. So and it's really impressive because they are playing 4 in the back. So he is actually a normal left back, not a wing back or anything, but offensively.
Maybe we should be interested in him.
He's so strong. He's much better than Masuaku, I think.
I think, Flemming, if you watch my shows, you know what I think about Masuaku.
He's very good, Flemming Traenersen. So that's the man. I think actually for West Ham tomorrow, we don't have to fear Viborg. But the left side, when he attacks Flemming Traenersen, we have to be ready. It's good.
That's really interesting. So we've got to sort of look out for to balance that. I was going to ask you. I mean, you've probably you've answered it. Are we going to have any issues with Viborg in the way they play? But you're suggesting that maybe that's one area to look out for on the left side. So you're suggesting he's the strongest, probably the strongest player for them.
Yes, obviously the strongest player at the moment. Yes.
So in general, how do you see them playing? Do you think they're going to be quite play safe tomorrow and maybe sort of just sit back and defend? Are they going to try and absorb the attack?
Of course.
Do we have an attack?
I think from the start they will be very defensively and try to hold on to the 0-0 as long as possible. But they can also play football. That it's not a bad team, but of course tomorrow it's going to be a really difficult one for them, and they know that. I think if you compare their strength to anyone, I think last year we played Austria Vienna in the Europa League. We beat them 2-0 home. We beat them 2-0 away.
That's not a bad result. Yeah.
No. I think that was West Ham beating Austria Vienna.
Oh, sorry.
Yes. Do you remember? 2-0
yes.
home, 2-0 away. I think the strength of Viborg is something like Austria Vienna. It's not far away from that. So I could easily see 2-0 for Hammers, the two.
But what will happen, Flemming, if we don't manage to score tomorrow? We haven't scored in our first 2 games already this season.
I know.
If we don't manage to score tomorrow and finish frustrated with a 0-0, Viborg are going to fancy their chances back in Denmark.
Of course, but I think I'm sure we will score tomorrow. But Viborg, of course, if they get some kind of result tomorrow, they'll come with everything at home. And they have this season. They have beaten FC Copenhagen, which are
4-2,
maybe going to the Champions League in a week. They beat Trabzonspor yesterday. I think they beat FC Copenhagen 4-2, and this weekend they beat number 1 in the league at home, Silkeborg. So they have, especially at home this season, they have played very, very well. Also, they have controlled the games, and it's a bit surprising. Actually,
I'm getting quite worried now, Flemming.
I think it's going to be a 2-3-0 win for West Ham tomorrow.
It's good to have the confidence. So let's go on to West Ham. We've seen that we've got an addition now in our squads with the signing of Kera, and we've got. I mean, this is a bit padded out. These are the numbers that were submitted, in our team squad, and we're beginning. We've still got a few gaps, but when you look at that squad, Flemming. Let's go through with goalkeepers and then through to striker. We're expecting Areola to start tomorrow. Are you expecting anything different?
No, I'm sure about that.
It should be a nailed on, shouldn't it? Really?
Yeah.
And then in order to try and take this game seriously, do you then sort of decide to, for the right backs and the left backs, do you decide to go for Johnson or a lot of people are suggesting he should play at the left and then Soufal on the right? Or would you want to see Creswell in there, or would you want to save him for Sunday against Brighton?
It's a difficult question, I think. If we want to get the strongest lineup for tomorrow, it's definitely Creswell on the left and Ben Johnson on the right. But again, it's about also if we have to use Ben Johnson in the central defense tomorrow if we don't start the new player. I don't know about that. we are a little bit short in the middle defense.
Well,
At
we
the moment.
are, because I think a lot of people would say that Zuma is not looking fit at the moment, and people are suggesting now he may be carrying a bit of a knock, which is quite interesting. And we know Dawson is not going to be available, and we still don't know if he's going to have an operation on his thigh injury. It's all a little bit, you know what David Moyes is like. He doesn't give an awful lot away.
No.
So we even though we've got a number of central defenders there, we don't have that many options. And I'm hearing that Ogbonna has been in full training, and I've got a feeling that quite possibly he will start tomorrow. But I don't know who he will start alongside.
No.
Because I think maybe Kera will come off the bench. Maybe he'll be given a little bit of time to acclimatize himself so that he's ready for Sunday.
Yes.
So with that, it looks like you could be right. It could be Johnson playing in the middle alongside Ogbonna. But I would worry that would weaken us a little bit. I don't. What would you say with Ogbonna only just coming back as well?
Yeah, that weakened a little bit. I think Zuma has done it quite well. Obviously, he's not 100% in form, but I think still he's clearing a lot, and in the air he's strong. So I don't know. It's yeah.
Would you start Ogbonna? Would you give Ogbonna some game time over our new man Kera?
If we should give him some game time, it could be a game tomorrow to do it. I think. Really. Yeah. Because I think 80% of the game tomorrow will be on the West Ham half, on the Viborg half. So we don't defend that much tomorrow, I think.
And of course, we don't have Creswell available, so someone is going to have to start on the left, either Johnson or maybe one of the youngsters, which I'll get to in a minute. And then in the middle, we don't have Declan either, so we kind of got maybe a couple of choices there. Flynn Downs is apparently carrying a slight knock, but he should be available for tomorrow, and possibly alongside Souček. Would you think?
Yeah. I'm not that happy about Souček at the moment, but
a lot of fans aren't.
No.
You're not the only one.
No.
But do you think maybe this might be the sort of game that will give him the confidence back to sort of control?
Yeah, of course.
And then further up front, I mean, again, these are only our senior players, but who would you pick if from the ones that are available here? Who would you pick from the three in midfield and the one up front?
I think Benny did very well. Everybody thinks that last game. I would also like the new man
Cornet
on the left. Yes, I like to see him tomorrow. I hope he will play. I also hope Scamacca will play on top tomorrow.
Well, this is what a lot of people are hoping for, aren't they? I mean, if we sort of look at the what I'm predicting my lineup tomorrow, and I'm including a youngster in there, so I'm at a crossroads. Areola, I think we're all agreed. I think he'll definitely start. Because Creswell isn't available, I think you're right. Possibly Johnson will probably start more on the left, but then that gives us a problem in the middle. I don't know. It sounds like a tall order to expect Kera to start, but I'm going to go with him alongside Ogbonna. It's either going to be him or Zuma, one or the other. And then I'm giving young Harrison Ashby a go on the right. Do you think maybe we should play a few youngsters, or are Viborg too good for that?
I don't know. Maybe a couple of youngsters, but I'm not sure Moyes are doing that. I think Kufal will start on the right tomorrow again.
And then up front, as you said, in the middle, Downs and the unpopular Souček at the moment.
Yes.
And then I've gone for Lanzini with Cornet and Bowen to support Scamacca.
Yes. So you don't think Benrahma will start tomorrow?
I think Benrahma will be saved for Sunday.
Yeah, maybe.
Because I think Moyes is now at the point where he needs to put a team out that's good enough to beat this team. But at the same time, I think he's thinking Sunday as well. I mean, for me, if I was the manager, I'd play Scamacca tomorrow and Sunday. I play Cornet tomorrow and Sunday, but we know what David Moyes is like.
Yes.
He will play these players, and then when it's Sunday,
Yes.
he will change the team completely. That's why I think maybe you'll see one or two senior people, maybe Bowen starting, etc. But there is an alternative, and this is a little bit of a younger team, and one that an awful lot of people are saying, just put the youngsters in, give them game time, put the youngsters in, etc. But then you might have something like this where we've got his name has gone, Emmanuel. I've forgotten his name on the left. We'll call him Emmanuel because his surname is completely gone. And then there's players like Occo Flex and Dan Chesters in attack. You got to, and then quite a young midfield. Downs and Connor Coventry. Will Moyes go that far, or no? He definitely won't, will he?
No, because after the two first games, I think he also feels he is a little bit under pressure. He needs some confidence in the team. He needs a win again, and he know it's a difficult game again on Sunday, of course. But I don't think he'll play 3-4 youngsters from the beginning tomorrow. I think he'll start relatively strong, and then if we get a 2-0, 3-0 lead in the game, he will put on some of the younger guys in the second half.
But Flemming, is that a big risk then? Because of the size of the squad, everyone keeps saying about the size of the squad. If we end up getting an injury tomorrow in this game, and then we start to feel in trouble again, do you think that's going to put even more pressure on David Moyes? There's only a week and a half to go in the transfer window now. The last thing he wants is to pick up any more injuries.
Yes, that's right. So it's difficult. Actually, it's difficult for him tomorrow to pick the 11 because you can see it from many sides, and you're right. We don't need 1-2 more injuries for Sunday. That would be a disaster for us. So it's exciting what he'll choose to do tomorrow. But
it will be quite interesting.
Yes, and I hope we can get a 2-3-0 win tomorrow at least, so we are confident about the game next week, and maybe we can use that game to put on a few youngsters,
younger players.
Yeah.
Good point. Good point. So win it tomorrow and then relax next week.
Yes, I hope so.
Flemming, it's been absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much. If you want, we can do this again next week for the second leg.
Yes.
It's been a real pleasure. I really thank you for your time and your insight as well, because I can talk, but if I don't know what I'm talking about, it sounds like rubbish. So I'm really pleased that you came on to talk about Viborg for me. Yes. It's been a great pleasure. Thank you. And if I can get a ticket, I might see you next week.
Great.
Have a good evening. Thank you.
You too.
I hope you enjoyed that, people. So let's go through some comments before we finish the show and see what you guys think about lineups and so on. So Flemming's hoping for a 2 or 3-0. So let's see. I think it does depend on the team, but that'll be put out. I think maybe if we can get a 2 or 3-0, I think that would be fantastic. Good evening to you. It's not worth it. What a great signing, Kerry. He absolutely is. A couple more players and I'd be over the moon. I think we will get a couple more in. James, good evening to you. Cheek. I was early for a change, James. I had a guest on, so I couldn't be late. Cornet and Skamaka to start. I think they will both start. Moyes will play Kerr from the start. Not sure if he will. I'm not sure. Let's see. Good evening to you, Howard. I hope you're well. Foxes, good evening to you. Kerr looks a good deal. What's going? It looks a very good deal, doesn't it? Because I actually cheekily, in the sort of 5-minute show I did about him earlier on, I actually priced him at 30 million. I mean, the minute he signed a 4-year contract, his value has got to have gone up, hasn't it? We might have a player that we can sell for a profit for a change, rather than at a loss. Foxes again. I hope they don't throw him in at the deep end, as the Premiership is tough. Do you know what? I do have a feeling that he will go. He may not start on Thursday, but I do have a feeling that he will probably be thrown in at the deep end on Sunday, because we just are running out of central defenders. But let's see. Good evening to you, Neil. Good evening, Darren. I hope you're well. Good evening, Steve. How are you? Good evening to you, John. I hope you're well. Dabs. No Rice. No Creswell. No Dawson. No, that's true. No Moyes either. Yes, he's not on the touchline, is he? That might not. Let's not forget he was banned when he had COVID. Not banned. He had COVID a couple of seasons ago, and I think we won every game while he was away. So might be a good sign. Good evening, Kimbo. How are you? Kalispera to you, Sarif. I hope you're well, mate. Thanks for joining in. Good evening, Neil. What time is it? 5 o'clock. It was 5 o'clock the other day as well. I hope you're well, Neil. Thanks for joining. Good evening, Shaky. How are you? Let's scroll down. Let's see if we can get some thoughts on team news. Let's see if I can find any comments on that. Jan, I really hope Cornet starts. I think Cornet will definitely start tomorrow. I think Skamaka will as well. And Cyber, hope Skamaka starts, same as Downs. I think we will see. I mean, apart from Magerd, obviously, who's injured. It would surprise me if we don't see our other signings not starting tomorrow. Cornet, definitely. Maybe it might be a bit too soon for Kera. Who knows? But it'll be interesting to see if he's used at all. My feeling is if he doesn't start, as I said, I think he might come on to acclimatize himself. And then maybe he will be thrown in at the deep end. It's not a Moyes thing to do, is it really, though? He doesn't normally throw players in. He takes them about 3 months before he settles them in. But we don't have the time with our centre-backs. Reese, good evening. Kera thought he was playing with the best people in the world in Lionel Messi. Is going to be surprised linking up with Craig Dawson. Nothing wrong with Craig Dawson, Reese. Craig will teach him the dark arts of defending. Reese, of course, I'm not. You're answering HH. Fremmer, I have a question for Flemming. Hang on. Let's bring Flemming back on. He'll understand this. I have a question for Flemming. I don't even know how to pronounce that.
He is asking if I think Viborg can win the game in Denmark.
Oh, right. Okay.
And I think that will depend a little bit about how is the first game, the result of the first game. I think if it's 3-0 to West Ham after tomorrow, maybe Viborg can get a 1-0 win at home. I'm not sure about that, but maybe. I think if it's more close before the second leg, I don't think Viborg will beat us. And then we're getting Creswell and Rice and so on back on the pitch.
Rice won't be back, but Creswell will be back. Yeah,
Rice is always two
game ban.
Yeah,
but better these 2 games than 2 games in the group stages.
Yes.
What else have we got here? Vinay Fremmer, what does Viborg mean? Borg is a castle or a mountain?
It's a castle.
Fleming, you answer that.
It's a castle.
It means castle.
It's a castle, yeah.
See, we're having a history. We're having a Danish lesson here, which is good. Yeah, we know Creswell suspended. What else we got? Cornet, Richard Cornet. Creswell can't play his band. Yep, we covered that. Greg Cornet at left back. Then, but that's a good point. Cornet at left back. Would you put him at left back, or do you think that would be wasted for him?
Me?
Yes, sorry.
No, it's not a good solution, I think, but maybe.
Yeah, I think it would be. I mean, we're not going to play wing backs in this game. We're not going to be that defensive, are we?
No.
Okay. I think that's it. So, yeah, again, thank you for coming back on, and I'll see you soon, Flemming. Much appreciated. I hope you enjoyed that, people. It's nice to have a guest on. He's a Danish hammer. He's not a Viborg fan. He's a Danish hammer, and it's fantastic. But he had so much good information about Viborg, which is good. Let's finish off with a few more comments. Epic. Moyes said Cornet and Skamaka didn't start because they didn't have pre-season minutes. Well, this is pre-season minutes for them, so I hope they both start. Good evening to you, Phil. I would prefer Antonio tomorrow and Skamaka on Sunday. That ain't going to happen, but I get your point. Fat Gitchenko, seen the video, official site. Skamaka shines in training, but the sun shines out of it. Well, we know what he's like with Antonio. Good evening, Mr. Dodds. Thank you so much for the away day videos. Fantastic. Whoever watches the West Ham Weekly on a Monday, Mr. Dodds, he does the business. Fantastic the way he puts all those little snippets together. Flemming, what is the best way to get from the airport down to I'm going to bring you back on again, Flemming. What is the best way to get from the airport down to the stadium? What's the cheapest way to get there?
I think if it's Billund, it's by bus. I don't know actually if there is a bus directly from Billund Airport to Viborg. I have to find out about that. The best way from Aalborg to go to Viborg is driving with me like Jack Levin is.
But where I mean, it's from Stansted to Billund.
Stansted to Billund.
And
yes.
What airport do you get to go to Aalborg?
Stansted goes to Billund. I think also maybe Gatwick goes to Billund, and Stansted also goes to Aalborg.
Oh, there you go. I hope that helps, Richard. Doesn't help how you're going to get from the airport, mate, but unless you want to take Flemming's telephone number and we'll get you connected.
Yeah.
Right. That's definitely it, people. Thank you so much. Yet again, Flemming, for the third time. Thank you so much for coming on and answering questions as well. And we'll see you all very soon. I'll be back again soon with another show. I'm sure there'll be more stuff to talk about with regards to transfers. Join me for that. And, well, come on, you Irons, and let's hope for a big win tomorrow. Thank you, Flemming. Much appreciated.